How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video, and we are going to be talking about episode 9 of WandaVision, or season 1's WandaVision, because it seems like there may be more to the series, but who knows for certain. But anyways, let's dive right into this, because this is really interesting. There is a lot that goes on this. I think it was like 49 minutes on the top of my head, like about 49 minutes when it comes to this episode. And oh boy, this, I'm gonna say, like, the stuff with Wanda and I almost said WandaVision, but Wanda and Agatha is actually really, really freaking cool. So at this point, Agatha, or at least the start of this episode, Agatha is kind of baiting Wanda to fight, and we find out, like, immediately why. That every time she uses her powers, apparently Agatha starts draining her power, kind of like what she did with her coven. She would drain the power out of her and slowly kill her. So, at one point, they're just going back and forth. We get introduced, or at least we get to see more of the White Vision, who immediately, as soon as he sees Wanda, proceeds to try to crush her head. And lucky for us, the other Vision shows up, or at least, our Vision, or the Vision in the Hex, shows up to fight White Vision. And I don't want to talk too much about the Vision stuff, because it kind of ends abruptly. Like, just to by the way, quick synopsis of that, because I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's interesting with the character interaction between the Hex Vision. I'm gonna call them Hex Vision and White Vision, because to kind of end the fight, they kind of go into this whole thing of, like, who's the real Vision. And clearly, White Vision is only the body, but not the heart or the mind. And you have the Hex Vision, who is more of the mind, but not the body. And they go into this whole thing about the ship of Theseus, I believe. They start kind of giving this whole lecture of, like, okay, so what counts as the real ship? And it's like, well, to some extent, I think to the conclusion, it's uncovered that, they're both, in some way, both the real Vision. And to end the fight, Vision mentions the fact that, they may have rebuilt him, but in the sense, he didn't lose his memories. They're just buried. So our Hex Vision proceeds to use the abilities he has in the Hex to unlock White Vision's memories. Everything that happened before Vision's death. And Vision, just as soon as he gets his memories back, just says, "I'm Vision," and then flies off. And we don't get to see him at all after that. We also get some, but again, like, when it comes down to it, the really cool shit is between Wanda and Agatha. We get some more interaction with the director Harkman, who, after Wanda in the middle of the battle opens up the Hex, Harkman and a few of his soldiers show up, who are by the way taken down by the kids. One of the kids using his psychic abilities, and the other brother using his super speed to take them out one by one, or at least disarm them, I think is the better way to put it. By the way, we also get the science girl back. Harkman tries to escape after, by the way, shooting freaking kids. And lucky for Monica, I guess she has whatever her powers are. I'm kind of curious about that, because, and I haven't had the chance to look at her character in the comics, but it seems like she was able to I guess, mess with matter or physics, because Harkman tries to fire at the kids. Monica Rambeau steps in front of them, and the bullets phase through her and slow down, which I thought was actually really cool. After this, Harkman tries to escape, and the scientist lady that was trying to help Vision in one of the earlier video episodes to get to Wanda proceeds to take the ice cream truck that she had, or the circus truck, and ram it into Harkman, which I thought that was a great like situation. Between that, or at least after that, the fight between Wanda and Agatha continue, and the more and more Wanda is using her powers, the more and more not only her power, but her life is drained away and into Agatha. Oh wait, actually, before I continue, because it gets better, there's something else I want to mention, because I mentioned the fact that she opens the hex, and the reason she did this was there's a moment where Agatha, I guess, breaks the connection, or at least frees the minds of everybody in the town. And I'm gonna say I felt really bad for a lot of the people that are in this, because again, they're there against their will. They have no control of their bodies, and you see all these people like basically pleading for their lives for Wanda to let them go. Either that, or basically just flat out kill them, because they don't want to suffer anymore. And so Wanda opens up the hex in order to let them out. But there's also a kind of it comes at a price, because apparently, as we figured, as the hex starts opening up and breaking apart, Vision starts to fall apart as well, and not just him, but their kids as well. And a lot of people were theorizing that, or at least hoping, that because the kids were born through Wanda, then they would be safe, but I guess not. If anything, they were just a part of the whole simulation illusion that Wanda created. But anyway, continuing the fight between Wanda and Agatha, Wanda is slowly losing her powers, and on occasion, between attacks, missing. And at first, it seems like it's nothing, but we actually we figure out why she's doing why that's happening. Because in some sense, there are times where she's not actually aiming for Agatha. In fact, if anything, missing for good reason. For a split second, we see Wanda withered, and Agatha, with all the power that she has absorbed or taken from Wanda, tries to attack her, but instead doesn't work. And we find out that apparently in between the fray, Wanda, which I will say that was kind of it was a stupid thing to teach Wanda this, otherwise she probably would have won. But in the middle of the fight, Wanda, the times that she missed, was placing runes all around the barrier. Now, as Agatha mentioned in the previous episode, that somebody who casts runes in a specific place, the only person that can use their magic is the person who placed the runes. And sure enough, since Wanda created this hex, this space, she was able to manipulate it so that way Agatha couldn't even use her magic in Westview. Like, just completely gone, lost her powers. So what ends up happening next is Wanda takes back the power that Agatha took, and we get Wanda's brand new costume, which I'm not gonna lie, it's actually really nice. Um, Now, I will say, periodically through the episode, Agatha like kind of tells us that there's something else that's going on, especially with the appearance of the quote unquote Scarlet Witch. Brings up the menacing book that we've seen in the episode 7 and 8. And when she becomes full on Scarlet Witch, Agatha says something along the lines of, "You don't know what you've unleashed," which begs the question: what has Wanda done, and is this going to cause problems for our heroes in the upcoming films? Very curious about that, especially since I think I've heard that apparently Wanda or Scarlet Witch is going to be in the next Doctor Strange film, but we'll see. So with that, Agatha is defeated, and to kind of insult to injury, decides to enslave Agatha's mind to be or continue the role of the quote unquote nosy neighbor, which I can only imagine how much that sucks. And to add insult to injury too, because Agatha is trying to plead for her life, and she tries to tell Wanda, which, by the way, adds on to the fact that there's definitely something happening. Goes on to tell her, "Hey, you might need me," and Wanda just flat out, like, cold-heartedly says, I love this line because she just deadpan goes, "If I need you, I know where to find you," and then proceeds to enslave her and make her into the puppet nosy neighbor character, which I thought was great. Oh gosh. I mean, it to some extent, especially with all the manipulation that Agatha has caused, and I just, oh my gosh. I guess a fate worse for a terrible person. That's all I'm gonna say. But oh boy. So with that, Agatha's defeated. Vision has disappeared, or at least White Vision, and the Hex is slowly being torn down, and that's Wanda's doing, because I think at this point Wanda knows what's happening, or at least what she needs to do. So, and I'm gonna say that the last couple of scenes is really great, because we get a moment where you have the kids, Wanda, Vision, go back to their home. Wanda sends them to bed, or the two kids, and proceeds to go downstairs with Vision and say her goodbyes. As the Hex slowly closes in and basically is gone. Wanda has taken down the Hex, freeing everyone, and in the end goes off on her own way. Actually, having one quick interaction with Rambo, which I thought was great. Then after that, then proceeding to, fly off and go about her own situation. Now, I want to say that there are two end credit scenes, or post credit scenes, which I thought were interesting. One, the first one anyway, where Rambo, or Monica Rambo, is called into a movie theater to be debriefed, and it turns out it's one of the aliens that Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury and Captain Marvel saved. Telling Monica that there's somebody, or an old friend, that wants to meet her and discuss things with her. After that, we then get another scene where we see, for a brief second, we see Wanda at a cabin by herself drinking coffee. And as we pan into the cabin, we see Wanda hovering, reading that book that Agatha had. And strangely enough, actually, no pun intended, we get, for that brief scene, we get a snippet of the Doctor Strange theme, which I thought was interesting. As she's looking through the book, she hears one of her kids crying out for help, and the screen goes red. So I'm curious of whether or not we're going to get more of WandaVision. I would love it if we did. I'd be curious to see if they do anything more of White Vision, because again, we only saw him for a short period of time, and I kind of wish there was more, but whatever. So all in all, this season, I really freaking enjoyed it. I have to say, with the sitcoms, they were really fun. As we progress further and further down the rabbit hole, when it comes down to, what was going on with Wanda, I think that it was really entertaining. We got to see, I would say, probably why she did the things she did. And above all, it's just, I can't stress it enough. This was actually really fun to watch. It really was. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace. 3, 5.